are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out which one of these tractors is gonna look good pulling a planter next to your shopping a little bit. I don't know, green or should we do red? What do you think, red? Red? I don't know. I think red looks pretty good. So Molly and I are back from Louisville. I had a pretty good time and met some other YouTubers that I just had talked to through social media platforms and stuff like that. Neat to put some faces with the names, all that good stuff. And I guess there was something that was brought to my attention that I was asked a few times was basically, people, I guess, had never told my story of how I actually ended up in farming. So figured we could do a video of that. First, let's check out the Louisville trip. We better fire up the old checkbook on this one here.
Haha, real funny. We can ask where the oil fill is on this one, and then I might let you.
True.
Small livestock operation, a small farm where you need a utility tractor.
I guess I was never meant to be a sprint car racer. I couldn't even get in there.
I think we should get it for Wayne.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna stop that right there. Wayne does not need one of those. How did I get into farming? And I'm not really sure how to basically format this video. It will be a little bit of an oddball one, so stick with me. There is probably a video that needs to go with this one that we've already done, which my dad kind of told his story, how he got into farming, because my dad is a first generation farmer. That makes me a second generation farmer. We went in all of that, and there's a little bit of tie-in between those two. So anyways, I just turned 30, and we'll start basically at the start of kind of my farming career, I guess you could say. So I have been farming basically my entire life, but not in the essence of probably what a lot of people think. My dad was a hobby farmer, so my farming was on the weekends, and realistically it was more running around with BB guns, four-wheelers, building forts in the woods, that type of thing. So farming as a kid was just more of a playground area to go to, ride around on the tractors, that type of thing. Didn't really have any designated chores or anything like that with the kids with livestock and stuff. So I've been around farming my entire life, per se. So I'd spend a lot of weekends on the farm. High school, it kind of dropped off a little bit because of all the sports and stuff that I was in. We can also talk about jobs that I've had through that period of time. First job, I worked at a marina. I worked at marinas for numerous years. Lots of maintenance and customer service. Then I got a job like every single other high schooler in Iowa does. I worked in Hy-Vee, actually in the Chinese department. After that, I found a job still in high school that was a little bit closer, and it was paying about $1 more. Ended up at a call center for a nonprofit and did phone calls. It drug on and on, but it was a better job. There's always some weird oddball stuff in there. Then, needless to say, I managed to graduate high school. At this point in time, farming, I guess, wasn't really the career path that I was going on. I knew that I wanted to do something where I was kind of in charge of my own future. I did know that. What it was, I didn't know. Again, I couldn't say that farming was really the career path or what I thought about at that point. My dad's never forced me to come back to the farm. So it was never like, once you get done here, you got to go to Iowa State, do this, nothing like that happened. So I ended up going to the University of Iowa. Plan was to get into business and come out of school with some type of business degree. In school, continued to work, did oddball college jobs. Nothing too special. The most memorable job was that I would muck out horse stalls. Every morning, I think I got there at like 6 and I got done at about 7:30 or so. I had time to be able to make it back to school. I'm pretty sure everybody would love me because I'd smell like horse, you know. That was how I got some funds for Friday night activities. No, seriously, yeah, no. Anyways, long story short, things were clipping along in college. Going decently good, getting okay grades. I ended up actually kind of starting a company with a couple of my friends during like a winter break or something like that. Maybe that was the career path that I was going to go down. I ended up actually getting an internship with a tech company in London. So I spent 3 months in London at a tech company. It was a pretty fun summer. Learned quite a bit, and that's actually kind of where my career path definitely changed. Oh yeah, by the way guys, my neighbors gave me an ice fishing hut. I just bought some ice fishing poles. I got an ice fishing auger, found like a 15-year-old graph here in the shop. We're gonna go ice fishing. Not in this video, but I'll probably take you guys with me. Don't mind the messy shop, it's in the deep clean stage. Anyways, actually my last day in my internship was actually another person's last day at their company. They'd actually, I think, ended up going to work at eBay or something like that. And I kind of asked him and I said, hey, you know, if you don't like working in the corporate world, will you come back to, you know, this company and work with them? And they said, he basically said, no, you know, if you start a company with some friends and stuff like that and you are no longer with that company, it's not like you just quit kind of quit the company, kind of quit a friendship. And I guess at that point in time, I decided that, hey, my two buddies that I started this with, their friendship's important to me. I'm not 100% positive that this was the career path that I wanted to go down. So amenably, I kind of backed out of the company. Those guys are doing great right now. So everything's peachy perfect on that aspect. But at that time, it pretty much made me need to make a decision on what I was going to do. I enjoyed farming. Like, I enjoyed it very much so. The process interests me, the challenge interests me, and it's something that I was good at, or I thought I was good at. So I decided, hey, let's make a run at that. Problem is that I am now 3 years into my college education, and it does not make sense for me to stop going to college just to come back to the farm. For me to graduate, I was actually behind a couple of semester hours, not necessarily because I wasn't taking a full class load, but for me to graduate, I changed my major to, actually it's a liberal arts major, but it's called interdepartmental studies. So it's like a liberal arts business degree where you have pretty much a basic understanding of every aspect of business, from management, finance, all the good stuff. Which has come in handy for, say, would I redo that exact program again? No, I would probably still look at some type of college, but probably a cheaper college, and maybe something a little more, maybe like a community college probably would be more for, say. Do I regret any of it? No, I don't. But anyways, back on track. Let's get back on track here. So since I switched my majors, for me to graduate, it got pretty hairy to graduate on time and not have to come back another year. So what actually happened is in 2014, I started farming. To start farming, I ended up taking classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then I would come and farm Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, head home Monday night and or first thing Tuesday morning, depending on what was going on, and go back to classes. To graduate on time, I had to take 21 semester hours my first semester of my senior year and 25 semester hours my second semester of my senior year. Did the same thing, obviously, my second semester, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at school. Got graduated, and for those who don't know, I think full-time student is technically like 12, 13 semester hours or something along those lines. But we got graduated, knocked that out, came back, started farming. So first summer after college, I actually ended up there's the 3 grain bins across the road from my shop right now, staying in a camper. It was nothing fancy or anything like that. Didn't have running water, but I did have power because it was plugged into the grain bin. That's how actually I got to know Wayne quite well, because we'd chat with each other and he'd take his goer and I could hear him coming across the street and he'd come bug me. Living was cheap. My only expense, I believe, was a porta potty, so that I didn't have to take the trailer to like a campsite or something like that and pay a dumping fee. I just paid to have a porta potty. I ended up staying at the grain bin pretty much until, I think I made it all the way until November. The camper did not have heat, otherwise I would have stayed even later. And then I really didn't have any running water because I couldn't actually even put water into the camper to like do dishes and stuff like that, which is fine because I'd frequent down to the bar at the bottom of the hill. Maybe one of those destiny things, I guess you could say, of living in that camper. Got to know Wayne really well. And that's indirectly actually how I met Molly, was by frequenting that bar. Not because Molly went to that bar all the time, but her actual brother-in-law and I are pretty good friends, and that's how we got to meet. Living, again, was cheap in the camper. I'd go down to the bar pretty much every single night for dinner, watch TV because I didn't have TV, drink a couple Wobble Pops, make my way back out. Life was good, life was simple. I think I said I made it all the way until like November. It got unbelievably cold on me one night to the point where I couldn't actually sleep in the camper. Turned around, went and rented an apartment on Centerville Square. That night, slept on the floor that next day until I went and actually got a bed, because once I graduated college, I actually donated my bed to somebody. So I didn't even have a bed. I had like no possessions at this point. Which, fun fact, Centerville is the world's largest square, so I've lived on the world's largest square. But anyways, farming continued to click. I don't think that there's anything that I did necessarily that I can pinpoint for the growth that I guess we've experienced. So I just worked hard, did oddball jobs all the time, learned quite a bit, got into some bad land deals, learned from those. It's been a learning experience. I think we're on the right path, by most means, and I think that I've gained quite a bit of knowledge from the past few years, which has steered me forward now. Where do I see the farm going in the next few years? I'd expect it to continue to grow. I personally am really interested in trying to increase our grain handling system with the dryer or whatever it may be. That's probably what I'm going to be looking at pretty hard. Something that I guess it's still a wish list. It's always a wish list. I expect to continue to do a lot more land improvement projects. It's definitely been a great investment for the farm. It's a good return. I mean, for instance, land's expensive, and if you can get 10 to 15% more, bushels out of an acre, 20% more bushels out of an acre, just take 20. If you improve 5 acres, it's basically like you got another acres of crop without the inputs too. So expect to see a lot more of that. Other than that, I guess when I started farming, I really wasn't going to be sure where I was going to be in 5 years, and now it's been 7 years. So I guess, would I guess that I'm at where I'm at now? Probably not. I would say that I probably have exceeded my 5-year expectations. So could I exceed my 5-year expectations in 5 years? Possibly. We don't know. But hopefully that maybe answered a few your guys' questions of how I got into farming, what I've done, how I've gotten to here. We'll continue forward. We'll continue YouTubing. Planting season's right around the corner. Kicking off the 2022 growing season. Fingers crossed that we can have a good growing year. Fingers crossed the world can figure out what it's doing. Start getting along. Start solving some of the supply chain issues. Yeah. But anyways, guys, hopefully you kind of enjoyed that little bit of a different video. Well, I'm going to take the 2 dogs home. See you in the next one.
What color do you think that is?
Lime.
I'm gonna call it margarita.